how to do the waves on our SHIPWRECK tumblers. I have you in my garage, so it's a little bit colder. I'm only going to be doing this to show you guys the wave tutorial. The colors I'm going to be using is the Reese alcohol ink, and this is Ocean Green. It is the Tim Holtz Indigo, and the Pinata Baja Blue, and then Pinata White as well. So I'm going to do that. I already have my epoxy mixed up. It's a little thicker than what I like it because it's colder in here. I do have the heat on, so I am going to give it a little bit of heat with my heat gun before I spread this epoxy and get some bubbles out. So I'm going to first just go ahead and start applying a nice layer on our cup that we're going to do the waves on. The waves are going to be coming up from here. This is painted gunmetal gray because I'm actually doing a warship for the Marines. So we're going to go ahead and slide the epoxy on. I am a messy crafter, so just disregard how I apply my epoxy. You guys do your thing your way. I'm kind of a slap it on and make it happen kind of person. So, but this is just a quick tutorial just to show you guys how to do the waves. This is a 20-ounce straight tumbler. I have mixed up 25 milliliters of epoxy. You can tell my epoxy is a little bit hard because it's not going on super smooth. So we're going to have a shorter working time for this only because it's cold. Make sure you get your bottom really good. I cover the whole cup in epoxy when I'm doing the waves. Should have my guards on. Just want to get a nice layer of epoxy going. We're going to heat this up, and then we're going to get it flowing so we can drop inks. So again, this is just a quick painted cup to show you guys the wave technique. And again, I'm just kind of smoothing this out, running my finger over it. So we're just going to let that smooth out, make sure we get the bottom. We're going to get some heat. When you're using your heat gun, folks, make sure you, if it's super hot, don't keep it in one spot on your tumbler. It will burn the epoxy, so just keep it moving. This is a good chance to look to see if you're getting full coverage on your cup while you're loosening your epoxy up. So again, just keep it moving. Don't stay in one place too long, and get that epoxy nice and smooth. And we want it to get running. Heat that up. Okay. So now we got some of the epoxy going on the cup. We're going to go ahead and start doing a little bit heavier flood coat with it so that we can get some alcohol inks moving in the epoxy. So I just add a generous amount to the bottom of the cup because it's where a majority of my waves are going to go. But I do want it to be able to move up the cup a little bit. So again, I'm going to keep adding some epoxy just so I can get some really good movement. And don't forget your bottom. Just dripping some on. We're probably not going to use all of that epoxy, but again, we just want some fluid motion going on. Popping some air bubbles and loosening up the epoxy at the same time. Okay, so I'm actually going to take my glove off for this because we're going to be dropping ink. I always start with my darkest color, and I start at the base. So I'm going to go ahead and just start dropping some inks in. Again, this is the Ranger alcohol ink, Indigo. So it's going to give us a nice dark blue. Make sure you drip over the edge so that you can get the bottom. And I want a lot of this color because it's going to cover a majority of the bottom, but I'm also going to mix in some of these other colors. And I go ahead and just start dropping the colors that I want. Waves are all different colors. Make sure that you remember your bottom. And that was the Baja Blue. And then we're going to add up just a few drops of the green because I think I like the ocean colors with when there's a little bit of that green flowing. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my white. Just a couple drops here and there because I want some of those waves crashing. And once my inks are on, I'm going to go ahead and hit it with some alcohol, or with the acetic gun again. I want that epoxy moving. When you really see your colors starting to blend, we're going to give it some movement. Alright, so it's really starting to move. So now what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to move my sheet here out of the way. It's been catching my stuff. And I'm going to start tipping my turner. So now you guys are kind of not quite up there, but this is going to give it the movement of some waves going up and down. You just keep turning your cup, encouraging the movement of the waves. If you're not getting a bunch of movement, add some heat and get the epoxy moving. Now we're also going to be adding some more epoxy on here too to really get it going. So now we've got some really good movage happening. So again, just keep tipping it up and down. Probably going to drip off a little bit, but again, that's your waves that you're creating. So just watch kind of how far they go. And just keep swirling. And then again, we're going to drop some inks, give it a little bit more, some movement. And don't be afraid to mess this up, guys. Inks are very forgiving, so remember that. It doesn't take much to get it moving around, but again, it's pretty forgiving. So I'm actually just going to drizzle a little bit more of the epoxy, just so that I can get some movement going with those colors. Okay, it kind of looks like a hot mess right now. This will all get touched up a little bit later. Okay, let's get some of those waves going. I'm trying to keep it under the camera, but the drastic movements of the waves are from going up and down in a severe kind of way. So we're turning the cup completely upside down and encouraging that dripping while it's turning. Some people take it off the turner. I kind of like it while it's on the turner because it keeps the movement going around as you're making those waves. And again, if you don't see the movement that you're looking for, add some heat. We've got plenty of epoxy on the cup. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more of my white in. Get some crashing waves going. And remember, guys, if you don't get the coverage that you want on your first coat, you can let this epoxy settle and add another coat of waves. You do it the exact same technique. And you'll end up going up farther on your cup than you anticipated. That happens. So you just want to go ahead and touch up with any of the top color paint. If you've got that as the SHIPWRECK that you're doing, then you just want to be extra careful or cautious when you're doing your waves. I need some white right there, I think. There's no crashing waves going up there. And again, just drop inks until you get the look you want, and keep moving the epoxy around until you get the waves that you're craving. Tipping, tilting, add heat when you need to until you get the look you're looking for. Remember, the heat's going to break up those waves and break up those colors. I kind of like when it gets super drippy because then it gives me that massive, like, big flow happening. And that's why I keep mine on the turner, because I really kind of like when it blends and moves. Again, we're going to add a little bit more ink. Keep dropping ink everywhere. Squirting everywhere. Sorry about that, guys. I have dropped my cup before, if you're wondering, when I'm doing this. So just be really careful. It's bound to happen. Fell right off my turner. Ah, I got one way up there. Alrighty, so we're just going to let that spin and see what it does.